and just said, no, I really mean business now in this lower bracket. So we'll see if he keeps that up. As in the bottom right, our blue Zerg is going to be Cham.
Yeah, I watched all those games. They were kind of funny. Cham played well in those, but that's obviously a completely different matchup. And Disc is great, but not quite as great as his opponent today. In the top left side, we are looking at the main base of Heartlet of the one and only Shopify Rebellion's Scarlett. Scarlett is still in Korea though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I know. Yeah.
So that does mean that Cham is going to have a pretty serious ping advantage, and that can make a real difference in ZVZ. I already hate microing Banelings with 0 ping, so I don't want to imagine what it is when you have to do it cross-server, and your opponent actually does have the low ping that they are used to, so that bodes well for Cham, but I think ZVZ is a matchup that it doesn't always have to come down to execution. I think you can get serious advantages by just playing in specific ways and going for certain build orders where it's not all about the micro. And Scarlett has just a ton of experience in this matchup. And I think she's always been an excellent ZVZ player.
Yeah, that's very true. She was always so dangerous in ZVZ. She was always the player who was very happy to kind of get very cheesy as well. And that makes it difficult to play against her because you've always got to be on edge as to what exactly is she about to do. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
As we have somewhat normal openings here, both players going hedge first. We had a very long day of StarCraft VOD. You've been going at it for 9 hours and 30 minutes, non-stop casting, observing, having to listen to Ben and me bickering back and forth. Any highlights of the day?
Loved the Hero Marine turnaround. I thought that was very cool. Serral Cham was kind of wild as well. But it was the game where Serral very nearly brought it back. That was really spectacular because he was like dead. And then he just wasn't dead for the next 10 minutes, but still lost. But that's the kind of level you want to see from Serral Cham. It's hard for that not to be a highlight. Anytime Serral Cham play, it's very rarely not good. So, yeah, probably Serral.
Yeah, the game on Heartlet, I guess, is the one you mean, right?
Yeah.
That was definitely very cool. Yeah, I liked it. I thought that obviously Gabe finally getting the job done again against Spirit.
Yep.
We all knew he was capable of it, but it's been a little while. And then the reverse sweep after looking a bit underwhelming in the first 2 games. I thought that was very cool. Maxi Paxi is, for me personally, always a treat, but that will not come as a surprise to you.
Yeah, no. It was actually kind of fun seeing Christian take the first game, right? So it was a bit like, okay, we're partying. And then Max Pax stepped it up a little bit and definitely was the better player on the day. But yeah, it was cool to see Christian step up and, really show what he's, gotten here with, which is, a lot of great PvP results. So he put that into practice. It was cool to see.
Yeah, got here by winning 4 PvPs. Unfortunately, Cristiano's journey has ended. Scarlett is the one that kind of pulls the trigger here with 16 lings on the production tab. There is no Baneling nest yet on the side of Scarlett, so there is a good chance he's going to skip that altogether. And then it obviously makes sense that if you want to go straight into a Roach Warren, that you make a bunch of lings first. The idea behind this is not necessarily to find crazy damage on the other side of the map, but if you are skipping Banelings yourself, you want to make sure that whatever battling is happening on the other side of the map, because you obviously don't want to battle Ling Bane with pure Lings, and Scarlett gets on top of the first 2 Banelings that were morphed in the center of the map. It's a tiny bit odd, Waddy.
Yep, it's a weird place for them, as we just have now these Lings coming across. More Lings on the way, so not stopping there, and the Roach Roan, as mentioned, is on the way up as well. Can she take this fight right now? Yes, and she's going to cancel that Baneling, so Cham in a little bit of trouble. Can Cham keep the Queen alive? Scarlett didn't leave quite enough Lings on it, so Cham is going to turn this around for the moment at least.
25 lings on the map for Scarlett against the 15 or so of Cham, but Cham is going to get a few Banelings. Should have Banelings. I've never seen the Ling Bane player have such a hard time to make a Baneling. With 4.5 minutes, we've tried quite a while. The first 2 Banelings will finally go down. Scarlett has fired up 9 roaches on her side of the map, and now also drops a Baneling nest. So I was worried there for Scarlett for a split second. She was going to run into the Banelings, because Cham has finally got a Baneling out.
Yep, finally got one of those explodey boys up and running. I like that Scarlett is going to get that Bane nest as well to go with this Roach attack, because obviously this is just Ling Bane from Cham. A couple Banelings from Scarlett alone would really make a big difference and affect how Cham can take the engagement as these Roaches are seen. Cham now kind of knows what's up. Let's see where his response is. Well, I mean, obviously a lot more Lings, a few more Banes. This is where you kind of think maybe a Spine or so even, but I guess there's no time for that.
Yeah. I don't want to be a party pooper, Waddy, but this just seems mega over to me, unless Cham pulls off a miraculous hold. Because 9 roaches, it's not like this is an attack with 2 or 3 roaches. Okay, maybe you get a full surround on all the roaches and can actually cancel all those banelings. I mean, this is about as good as it will ever be for Cham. And I still don't know if that is necessarily going to be enough, but that is as good as it will ever be. Done a good job in reducing the roach count, has done a good job in preventing Scarlett from getting her banelings up. And that is a hold and a half by Cham, and I think that should have never ever happened. If Scarlett would have either protected her roaches with the links or just fight with 2 banelings, no way that would have ever happened. That was 9 roaches.
Yeah, she just went a little bit too soon, right? She just went a little bit too aggressively, and like you say, just, didn't get her own banelings up. They moved too close as we have to micro back here. That one Morphin Bane will survive through. And yeah, the other thing is just if the roaches weren't left on their own, then these lings can never initiate that fight, which obviously would have been a very different scenario as well. Funnily enough, coming out of this, Scarlett drones into a worker lead, still has the roach roar on advantage, which is something that Cham has to now play catch-up on. And the game looks surprisingly similar on both sides of the coin, considering how this all got going. Cham actually going to be behind a lot of workers right now. Scarlett masked up a lot of them just there. She just started 15.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a crazy difference. 6.5 minutes into the game, where I think Scarlett already kind of dropped one opportunity to end the game, but is still super far ahead, unless he really messes up here against the Ling Bane. There are 4 banelings in the mix here. Hey, those banelings will connect with drones. That is 9 drones going down immediately. Cham once more gets 11. Still a couple workers behind, but that's a lot better than being down 20 workers.
That was progress at least, right? Because, beforehand it was unwinnable, now it's playable. As he does start up his own roaches, and Scarlett wants to decide what she's going to do. Is not replacing those drones, it's just massing up units of her own. Lings, a few roaches. It's going to be fairly similar for the most part. It's going to be the roach count of Cham that really kind of surpasses that of Scarlett. That's going to be the biggest difference. He has a few lings get across, and we'll see the roaches of Cham as well for confirmation.
That is a good scout, obviously, by Scarlett, right? Because imagine if Scarlett didn't see all these units and she think like, oh, okay, that was a bit chaotic, that was a bit wild, let's go ahead and tack up, make drones, fire up a lair. Scarlett could have been in trouble. No, I don't think Scarlett should be in all that much trouble. Cham is going to be forced to keep these units at home. I have rarely seen a high-level ZVZ where they produced this many links, roaches, and banelings in the first 7.5 minutes before anyone has gone into a lair.
I'm with you, man. It's kind of wild as now the lair is on the way up from Scarlett. At least she's going to try and dive around the right side with some lings. Cham's army supply is high, up by about 15 to 20 at any point in time at the moment. And if he's he's going to go because he's not setting up for any sort of future here apart from an attack. So, yeah, he's going to go, and Scar's just still droning, and at some point it might be a bit too much.
Stop. Scarlett needs to stop with the drones at this point. Actually taking 2 more guesses, taking another base. Scarlett has ran in her links like 3 or 4 times at the 3rd base at the bottom. And everything times she did not see a single worker, but she's not that scared by it. Now obviously with the amount of drones that Scarlett has, Scarlett can lose 20 or so and still be fine. But I actually think she's in danger of potentially losing a whole lot more than 20. Now we have these spines going down. But Cham with the 8 minute 35 seconds hatchery tech timing, that is so many slow roaches, Marty.
Yep, so many of them. Scarlett doesn't really have a competition in this right now as the roaches split away from those banelings. They can't find a good enough connection. Scarlett trying to get extra roaches out, but it looks as though Cham is going to be good. In a game where Scarlett probably had the game won twice over, she then just, like you say, she saw the 3rd having no drones on it repeatedly, only to not respect that information at all, and that's GG.
Yeah, no, it's not that Scarlett was blind, because he poked a few times with the link, saw the roaches, saw no drones, backed off. Saw the roaches there, backed off. But I think at one point she, I guess, just assumed that, okay, now this game has gone on for too long with the basic units. There is no way you're still on hatchery tech and you're gonna attack me with 1 million slow roaches of 39 drones. But that is exactly what Cham did. Cham pulls off a miraculous hold with Ling Bane against 9 roaches, a whole bunch of links, and Scarlett almost had banelings, but her banelings got cancelled too. That was a weird roller coaster over ZVZ. It's the kind of game where Scarlett looked really good, in control. Somehow Cham won, but I have a hard time believing you can replicate that 2 more times. But hey, 33% there, so perhaps there is a chance, Waddy.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the funny thing is, after Scarlett kind of botched her attack, that should have probably won, we then had this moment where I was like, oh, And now Scarlett's up like 15 to 20 workers. And then, okay, the Banes came across and they got some drones, but it still felt good for Scarlett. All she had to do was not get too greedy, and unfortunately fell into that trap. And lost game number 1 in somewhat spectacular fashion, because that would not have been my prediction at any part of that game, apart from like the final 30 seconds, I guess.
Yeah, when we saw 28 slow roaches. I mean, no lair was given on the side of Cham. It's just like, oh, links are cool, link vein is cool, roaches are cool. It's like, yeah, roach speed, +1 missile attacks, whatever. What if I just make more units? And I mean, somehow it worked. It's honestly kind of wild. Scarlett in the end, 25 workers ahead or 23 workers ahead, whatever it was. Obviously, that's a few too many. Spines were a little bit too late. Yeah, that was... Honestly, it felt that Scarlett wanted to play somewhat normal, then got dragged into the Clown Fiesta. It stayed a Clown Fiesta, and then Cham is like, haha, como estas? This is where I shine. And he absolutely did.
Absolutely did. We're going to Alcyone for map number 2 as Cham leads 1-0 in this best of 5 elimination match as well. It is, pretty competitive down in this lower bracket. All the best in the Americas, apart from a couple of Protosses who are already in the winner bracket finals. So, a lot on the line, and with the lead at the moment, the blue Zerg player pulling off a miracle. It is Cham.
In the top right side of Alcyone, we are looking at the main base of our Canadian Zerg, representing the Shopify Rebellion. Down 0-1, should be able to turn it around. This is Scarlett. Almost everything about that game was just really weird to me, Waddy. Especially where Cham was the Ling Bane player and just couldn't get a Baneling up for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah,
that was so weird.
Ling Bane couldn't get a Baneling up against the pure Ling attack. It was a different approach to the world.
Scarlett is going to make it a bit weird this time around, by choice. I see he's sending out the drones. He's going to take the gold. If this was Bly or a laser, there's a good chance that it would have been double gold. You casted one of these games, right? Where they both took the gold? Wasn't it Bly early on? I think it was Bly laser.
Bly a laser, and then Bly just got outgolded.
Yeah, because he tried to go into roaches of like 17
yeah. He tried to go into roaches, and the laser just made things.
Links. Yeah, you were casting with Loco that day. That was a fun day. I enjoyed that broadcast.
Yeah, Fire Laser was a good time. That's actually a wild
That Golden Aura game. Yeah, that Golden Aura game was quite something too.
Yeah, it really was. I don't know if was I casting. I think I might have been just observing. I seem to remember them.
Maybe it was Ben and Loco. Yeah, it was Ben and Loco.
Ben and Loco.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember listening to them chatter about it. There was a funny moment where one of them, I can't remember who, one of them was like, I kind of love these roaches as they got surrounded. I was like, I don't love it for these roaches. And then you were in chat saying, these roaches are going to die. I was like, yeah, I'm with you, man. The roaches didn't
Could be.
die.
Well, Scarlett has transferred 6 drones to the gold in the center of the map. Cham has an Overlord in the natural. Has obviously not seen any, maybe saw the drones even, but he obviously doesn't see any links running to his side of the map. I guess at this point, Cham knows that Scarlett is doing something that's a bit weird. The problem for Cham is that he opened up with a late gas, so he can't really do anything about it. Maybe he's going to use that gas for a lair immediately, and he's just going to play without link speed and go for roaches with speed and +1 missile attacks. Is that the direction that we're heading?
Yeah, that or you do something really crazy, but that would be the probably most expected situation. You get the wall off up. The thing is, I don't think this is good against the gold, because you don't do anything about the gold. You just sort of let the gold happen. But you're not really in a position to take your own gold, because the whole point of kind of playing the roaches like this is that you don't really have the mobility to defend a third. So when you do take a third, you're still playing with the slow roaches, so if they're going to move out to defend this gold, the natural's going to be wide open. So, not really ideal, and I feel as though Scarlett's getting into a pretty good starting spot with this. But I mean, Cham knows, like, he knew the gold was there, he decided to do this still, so maybe he could
Nidus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
Nidus the main.
Yeah.
I think Nidusing the main is always an option. But, I mean, you always think of Mudas, but it seems incredibly unlikely we're going to play Mudas here. He's only on 1 gas, and that is takes forever. And even if you then kill a whole bunch of drones with your Mudas, it's still a 2-base opening against a gold opening. So something has to be done here on the side of Cham. He needs to be very decisive, whatever way he wants to go. We're working on +1 missile attacks. He's making 7 more drones. Is there a world where he just kind of like ignores it, pretends that it's not there, and then just goes up to 3 bases himself and is like, cool, Mass Roach, he'll take it from here. Upgrade lead.
I guess. I don't know how much I'd love it though. As the Roach run finishes from Scarlett.
That is the direction that we're heading in, but yeah, I don't know how much I love it either, but it definitely does seem like that is the plan for Cham. He's just like, nope, you guys can theory craft all you want about the weird stuff I should do. I'm just gonna make some roaches, enjoy the upgrade advantage, and take it from there.
The upgrade advantage is of course nice. It's the question of, does the upgrade advantage outweigh the economy advantage that Scarlett has? Scarlett starts to miss a spine crawl here. A little worried perhaps about the timing of these roaches before, you know, the third comes up from Cham, because Cham right now has nothing to do but build roaches, so just gonna make sure she's okay. The Ling's just gonna check. But generally say that Scarlett should be kind of fine right now. She has got a good amount of roaches out. It may just be a case as well of, you know, having the spine here just because it can be a bit awkward, kind of getting roaches in position on this location, so maybe that's part of it as well.
It's kind of annoying to think, though, that Scarlett, her roach speed is going to be very late, because, like, if Cham starts moving these units around, if he pretends that he's going for the gold, but then he makes a left turn and he suddenly goes for the natural Scarlett, it's going to be very difficult for Scarlett to get her units in the right position.
Yeah, I think that's why the spine's important, right? At least on the third, but then, at least on the gold, but then there's not one on the actual natural location, so... Yeah, we do see the roaches moving forward. I mean, right now, Cham is attacking into a 20 army supply deficit, so... He needs to be careful. He needs to be probably backing it up a little bit right now. I mean, +1 missiles is nice, but there's a point at which numbers are just better than an upgrade. So, so right now, Scarlett definitely has the numbers.
Scarlett needs some overlords, though, Waddy. A serious amount of overlords.
Serious amount of overlords.
Starting off with 3.
Should be able to afford them, though. She has had the income lead for about 5 minutes now with that gold base.
Freeing up some supply by taking gases, dropping an Evo chamber, dropping a hatchery. And is a nice way to still sneak out a few more drones while you are supply blocked. In the end, it is 5 overlords at once. Well, yeah, I have a hard time believing that Cham looks at this game and is like, ha, going exactly according to plan, but is going to have a very big upgrade advantage. Like, we can't scoff at that. +1 missile attacks is done, +1 carapace halfway done, +2 missile attacks halfway done. I mean, Ravages, I guess, are always good, and Scarlett should be able to afford plenty of those. We can now actually try to take out a couple of overlords in the center of the map. But, I mean, this is going to be one of the biggest upgrade leads I've seen in a while in a mirror. We're going to have a 3 upgrade advantage on the side of Cham.
I didn't mind so much for Scarlett, because I kind of assumed she had an Evo, and then she started to build the Evo, and I'm like, oh, your upgrades are going to be really late. And that's exactly where we're at now, where you see +2/+1 versus 0/0. And now the army supplies as well are kind of catching back up. So for the moment, Cham is going to be kind of level, and Scarlett's deciding to attack. Her advantage in the army is 4 Ravages versus 0. She does get an Overlord at least, but let's see if she can make something happen. Cham's a bit out of position up to the top, and Scarlett's going to come up here. This is the moment where it's only 1-1 to 0/0, so she's not as far behind in upgrades as she's about to be, but that +2 is about to finish.
Yeah, Scarlett needs to be very careful. It does have a circling run by, I think, happening in the natural, so that can be kind of cool. But Cham is obviously going to click on the units of Scarlett and be like, ah, 0/0. I mean, I don't even care if you have a few more units than me. I've got a 3 upgrade advantage lead, and this is not even a tiny window, Waddy. This is a serious window, and not often you hype up the player that is down 20 supply, is down 12 workers, and doesn't have a gold. Like, sure, this is not bio, they don't fire 20 times a second like a Stim Marine, but 3 upgrades, that is a serious amount of upgrades.
Oh yeah, it is. These Roaches and Ravages of Cham start to push through. A couple of bios will force both sides back away from each other here. Let's just have, again, the +1 missile upgrade. Not far from Scarlett, at least finally, but this is a huge amount of time she's been without that +1 missiles. And then, of course, she is still going to be behind an entire set of upgrades, so... And she only has 1 Evo, right? So it's not like she can go +2/+1 herself at the same time. She'll just go +2. So she's going to really trail on carapace upgrades eventually.
I'm more worried for Scarlett in this game than I was in any given moment until the final 20 seconds of the previous game, as she lost that one. Like, Scarlett is now going to have to deal with roach counterattacks, but it's so annoying to just deal with 4 or 5 roaches if they have far superior upgrades. So Scarlett needs to send way more supply than I think initially she would love to. Scarlett, her multitasking is always good, though, losing a couple of drones quickly, and she's trying to hold the center of the map. That spine crawler is now going to come into play. A couple of great corrosive balls there for Scarlett as the spine is just starting to chip in. Cham needs to take care of the rally points. It is a hold for Scarlett, and obviously the longer that Scarlett hangs in there, the better it will be for her, because she can't catch up in upgrades. I don't think Cham is going to drop an infestation pit and fire up 3-3 anytime soon, but that was kind of scary. Would have maybe like to see a few more drones on the side of Cham, because he's been on 48 for quite some time, which can be nice if you can actually max out, right? But he is not quite close to maxing out.
Not quite close to maxing out as another couple of Ravages morph in. Corrosive Vials going to grab at that Overlord there as well. And we do see Scarlett just setting up down towards this bottom left side. A couple more Vials going to get an Overlord on the right also. And Cham going to be supply blocked, so maybe Scarlett does have potential if she just pushes up and can find a fight. I mean, it sounds crazy because she's still down a set of upgrades, but so far it's kind of still been alright for her. She does get up here. A couple of roaches pull a lot of roaches to the side, and that gave her an opportunity. Now Cham pulls everything back to the right, and it'll be hard to go up this ramp, but I mean, you're up in workers, you're mining more, you've got more of a bank already set. And if Scarlett doesn't fully commit and just sort of sits and waits for upgrades to catch up, then I guess it's kind of fine for her.
Couple of investors coming in to play as well. Scarlett does have way more Ravages, by the way, which should be a good thing, because Ravages are amazing as long as you don't let your opponent get on top of them. But it's going to be very hard for Cham to be like, hey, Scarlett, want to fight? And then Scarlett disengages with 15 Ravages, 2 more, 17 Ravages. At one point, maybe we have to ask ourselves the question, is there such a thing as too many Ravages, Waddy?
Yeah, I mean, definitely feels like at some point you get to this stage where, you know, if you just lose a couple of roaches, that was your entire front line, then the Ravages just die, but corrosive Vials are good.
Fungo!
Yeah, Fungo would be amazing. Oh, and the Vials! Oh, huge Vials. As this fight's going to kick off in favor of Scarlett. 2 Carapace upgrades will not care so much about that, but Cham coming in from the other side, and Roddy, you asked a great question. What is too many Ravages? This might actually be it, and this is exactly why, because they just get jumped on.
Yeah, but Scarlett obviously still had a lot of units, and the start of that fight was fantastic, right? Like the Fungo and combination of all those corrosive balls definitely landing because the units where Fungo was great. Cham decided to just go for there in the end, and I love that he tried, but I think he just lost a bit too much supply at the beginning of that entire fight. Got close though, got a little scary for Scarlett, but in the end Scarlett hangs in there with a 2 base advantage. I mean, I guess that gold is about to be mined out, right? There shouldn't be too much left at the gold. I think Scarlett has survived all the moments that were scary, and from here on out, it should be somewhat easy for her to close out the game.
Yeah, I think so, right? Because now the upgrade advantage is disappearing. She's got a much better teched up army. She definitely has more workers to keep working with. She still has a bank as well, right? So just everything you could really name at this point is in her favor, outside of, again, the Carapace upgrades, and every second, those are slipping away from Cham. So yeah, as Scarlett pushes forward a little bit. I mean, again, this is the one position she's not been able to break into throughout. But right now, she could even just go, as she does drop a fungal here. I was going to say, she could just go up the ramp to the left and just, you know, threaten the 4th base build. And she doesn't necessarily need to push up this ramp specifically. She could even knock the rocks down.
Counter.
And then go over. As, yeah, roaches on the unnatural.
Yep, decent amount of them. 6 or 7 or so here for Cham. Actually winning the fight initially. Scarlett can obviously send more units over. The armies in the center of the map are still kind of close to each other. Cham did invest in tunneling claws and burrow, and especially if the fights get chaotic, there are moments right where that HP, that regeneration, can really make the difference, as Cham is finding some good fights in the back of the main. And even though Scarlett has money for days, I'm starting to get a tiny bit worried once more. Only 16 larvae, by the way. Do you think that that could ever be a problem?
Yeah, but she is injecting, right? No, actually she's not. I know she lost the queen on the natural, but I mean, I guess lava can pop up all of a sudden, but she's kind of running out of queens a little bit. She only has 1, so actually, yeah, it really could be a problem. As fungal growth here could be huge. Oh my god, Cham, that was a scary moment to move forward. The Bile's all on cooldown as the fungal does land. Still good splash damage, though.
This kind of looks decent for Cham, especially if he can get on top of the production. He's going to go for it. He's going to move these units on top of the army of Scarlett, and the Ravages are great if they are being protected But what? It's starting to look pretty thin. Scarlett has reinforcements 4 days, probably running out of larva a little bit. All of these Ravagers seem to be a bit stuck. But in the end, extra roaches popping. Will it be good enough, Scarlett? I wouldn't hate pulling the drones here, because Scarlett actually still has a big drone advantage. The Ravagers somehow surviving a little bit longer than I thought. But Cham with his superior upgrades and some great tunneling claws, burrowed roaches all over the place. I think he's doing it. Oh my goodness, what was happening?
He's absolutely doing it. Cham's superpower is to start losing the game and then to win. Because it's kind of what it felt like this was. And Scarlett was just so desperate.
Zero larva.
Yeah, lava. Yeah, you're right. You know, that's a consequence of just Cham constantly attacking and just taking out the queens with a few different counters. GG's. Cham 2, Scarlett 0. I mean, it felt like Scarlett did everything she needed to get this into that longer game and to kind of see it through and to be alright, and then it just all fell apart, Roddy.
Yeah, it's crazy game once more.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of great fungals, great corrosive balls. Maybe Scarlett, obviously, in the end, the classic of ZVZ, where it's like, I've got a better economy, but I've got more drones. More drones means less army supply. And because Cham had better upgrades, just splitting off a few units into the natural, into the main base, Scarlett needs to send way more supply than I think she would love to clean up these hit squads. And on top of that, he already had less units because he had more drones, and there was a key moment where Cham was basically full sending it, killed 6 or 7 drones. Scarlett was still 12 workers ahead, and she queued up 10 more drones. And I think if those 10 drones were maybe roaches, and you can morph some of them into ravages, I think it would have all been very doable for Scarlett. But making even more drones while already having more drones and having all the money in the world, felt that Scarlett was preparing for a phase of the game that Cham never even thought of.
This fits some kind of meme format where it's like winning with a 3 upgrade lead? Nah. Winning with a 1 upgrade lead just about at the end? Absolutely, because Cham couldn't end the game to save his life beforehand, and that's what gave us a lot of hope for Scarlett again, and then then it all went wrong. We're just waiting for one of our other casters to re-log, but we are good to get in towards game 3, as suddenly Scarlett's tournament life is on the line in this very map, Roddy.
NA so far, 5 maps have been played, and all 5 maps I would have been like, oh, I think I pick the other player. I think, it's like, okay, Special goes down 0-1, can probably win game 2, right? Special's down 0-2, well, not really looking to play yet, but I still think he can win game 3. Nope. Clean sweep Diego. Cham against Scarlett is like, well, Scarlett is a pretty damn big favorite. Always performs well in these regionals, whether it was just NA or now it's the big Americas combined. Cham has made some tweets where he says, oh, I'm not all that active, I'm like, oh, actually playing a little bit better than I thought I would. You go in with not all the expectations, and it's a bit weird how we got here, but Cham is up 2-0. He now has 3 match points to close it out. And no matter how confident you are in CVC, having to win 3 in a row against a crazy YOLO Zerg like Cham is damn difficult.
Yeah, no, it really is. Cham's in the upper left, Scarlett's in the bottom right. Game number 3, her tournament life on the line. Can she bring it back? We will be finding out very soon as we wait to see what the builds are going to be. Of course, here on Golden Aura, we have a gold in the bottom left, but that's not one that we're going to go taking early or anything. So, let's see what the early game looks like, as it should for a few moments at least be a little bit more standard.
If you were Cham and you were thinking of one crazy build, right, where you're like, I kind of like this weird stuff in CVZ, or there's actually this one thing that I've seen that I think has some potential. This is just a perfect moment to bust it out. Like, I don't even think that Cham had a whole lot of preparation for this series, where he's like, all right, and once I'm up 2-0 golden aura, like, you almost think like that's a bit too much to even think about that. Probably come in with a plan for every single game. I want to do a bit of this, I want to do a bit of that. And then it obviously depends on how Scarlett is going to open. Speaking of how Scarlett is going to open, Wardy, well, NA, baby.
NA, baby. 3 hatch before pool. You put a hatch in your wall, and that's something I've only ever seen in NA. I've seen it before, but it wasn't NA. I'll tell you that much.
I don't think you're the only one, mate.
Yeah. It's a style. So you kind of get the benefits of 3 hatches, but without having to defend the 3rd hatch location, which seems a bit silly, but in some regards it can be kind of cool. It's one of those builds where it's almost like a check of your opponent's, like if Scarlett was up 2-0, I feel like I wouldn't mind this, because it's like, okay, check your opponent's composure and so on. Like, are they going to freak out when they see this? But I actually don't love her doing it when she's down 0-2. This feels a little bonkers, but we'll see what she has planned with it.
Maybe there's something special about the way that Golden Aura walls off that Scarlett absolutely loves it, but I'm with you. It feels a little bit weird and it feels a little bit out there, but maybe Scarlett just feels very safe with this build, and maybe she feels as long as I make it up to lair tech and I'm not in a terrible spot, I'm going to be okay. But to be fair, she was. It's just that I remember in the old days when Cham actually started to make a name for himself, and think back of like maybe 2016, 2017, you know, he went to DreamHack Tour, the one that Showtime won, we mentioned it earlier. He had a good run there, and a lot of the European Zergs, and this went on for like 4 or 5 years, they were often mauling over Cham. They were like, man, the way that this guy plays CVZ, it's just wild. Like, it's just wild. Like, Cham doesn't care, Cham doesn't scout, Cham does this, Cham does that. And I think maybe that last game is a bit of a prime example of what made a lot of the Europeans mauled, where the man just maxes out on double Evo 48 drones, and he shows up with 152 army supply, where if you're sitting on 70 drones, you're like, well, I've got 130, and if you're an upgrade behind and down 20 plus army supply, yeah, good luck, have fun winning a fight that's roaches against roaches, right? That's just really damn difficult.
Absolutely. It's very tough. As I was waiting to see what Cham was going to do. He's going to drop a Roach Drone and Evo Chamber, so he's going to set that up. Scarlett with her own Link Speed finishing soon, making a lot of Lings. That's the benefit of this extra hatch. You have a lot more lava available because you've got triple injects early. So let's see how it goes. Let's see if this spammer Lings can find something. It does not feel like Cham is prepped for this at all right now. Needs to make Lings and nothing else. Needs a couple of Banes as well, would be nice.
Yeah, making 3 Banelings immediately, as long as these Banelings can come online. Like, there is a world where this goes well for Cham. If the Banelings finish up in time, he has a bit of a wall off, has a Roach Run already, fired up Links, I think, pretty quickly. Scarlett sees the Banes, needs to be super careful, and I can only imagine how stressful this is for Scarlett. Playing from Korea with a bit of latency. I actually think this is picture perfect by Cham, or am I crazy?
I think he is, in fact, good right now. I think you're right. The Banelings came up. It's hard for Scarlett to commit into that. Now he's already on his way to Roaches, which is Scarlett's next step as well, but they're doing this off equal workers, and of course Cham's third hatch is actually on, a location to mine, so there's a benefit to be had there as well. Cham moves forward just a little bit. I mean, the big difference is that Cham doesn't have to worry about Banelings, deals with those Lings very well, and Cham is chasing across the map. I mean, again, maybe we don't go all the way, but Cham has other ideas.
Cham is just hoping for that one magical connection. I mean, Queen's gonna help out, but the Lynx can just settle for this hatch. The Banelings can protect the Zerglings. Yeah. Scarlett cannot keep this hatchery alive. Needs to cancel it ASAP. Will cancel it. Cham wants to get that drone as well. Gets that drone, turns around with the Banes for a split moment. Cham is in an amazing position here in Game 3. And this, I mean, we've had upsets, obviously. We maybe even had some upsets today, right, throughout the previous days. But if Cham 3-0 Scarlett, to me, that is the biggest upset of all 3 regions so far.
I'm absolutely with you. Cham's been building only Roaches and Lings, by the way, so as Scarlett goes back into some drones, she will start to take a little bit of a worker lead, but Cham just has the units to deal with Lings, and, well, we'll see where we go from here. Again, the extra, the third hatch is able to mine is a big deal if you get drones on it, so plenty of Lings from Scarlett still moving around. My issue almost is that she has so many Lings. She has 70 Zerglings on the map already. If Cham just morphs in a few more Banes, it's a great answer to 70 Zerglings.
Yep, Cham maybe doesn't quite know that it's that many. Obviously saw many Zerglings, but maybe thinks like, from here on out it's going to stop. But obviously Scarlett made even more at a certain moment. There are a couple of Roaches now for Scarlett, keeping his hatchery safe. If Scarlett brings this back, it is definitely an epic comeback, because I was not feeling her position here at all in Game 3. I was wondering if maybe Cham was like a tiny bit indecisive. Cham has 22 Roaches, Wadi, but he's not attacking.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right?
He's attacking.
Yeah. The moment he moves out, though, these Lings are going to come running in the other side. The Queen moves forward. Good response from Cham, and it's a good enough choke to hold. And he's not so far out that he can't get back home. Great hold there. Because if these Lings get in the main and natural, you're losing, a bunch of stuff. So that is a big deal. Also because your own units would then struggle with the choke point getting through there. So that's a massive response from Cham. Great reaction.
Yeah, really close, because obviously these Roaches don't have Roach speed yet. The lair is not quite done yet on the side of Cham. This is a little bit risky. I feel like if we're moving out, we want to move out with everything. And I know that's very difficult, because then you have to worry about the Link counterattack. But maybe a couple Banes could have kept your natural safe. Maybe this was just a fake out where he's like, Scarlett, I'm moving out. And then it's not actually moving out and dropping the Spire. Lair is done. Spire in the back of the natural. I mean, Cham is playing a series. In that first game, even after Cham won it, I'll be dead honest, I was not a believer at all. I was like, okay, this was
Yeah.
wild. This was a lot of RNG involved. This shouldn't have played out this way. Nice for Cham that he takes the map, but I'm not a believer. I'm starting to become a very serious believer here.
I'm absolutely with you, man. I mean, it was one of those times where I was like, okay, well, he kind of shouldn't have won that game. And game 2, I was like, okay, you didn't win it when you should have won it. Surely. And here we are now as, Lings do run in. Do we have a bailing hit?
Yeah, that was a big bailing hit. Big bailing hit. Like 25, 30 Lings or so. There were a couple of Lings obviously running on top of the third. They tried to get a drone or two. Scarlett, her Ling count is now 25. You know what I don't get, by the way, is my Cham. Like, I love the Spire one. The Spire is fine, but if we're sitting on 27 roaches, I kind of think that the roach speed would be okay.
I'm glad you brought it up, bro, because I was thinking these roaches are running over here real slow, but yeah, he just wants to have as much money in mutas as possible. Scarlett's Overseer Scout is missing the Spire right now, so she's really going to see these mutas maybe not as late as possible, although if this Overseer goes down before any pop, that's a big deal. I mean, she sees the gases in the main base. I mean, she's got to wonder herself why that roach speed ain't up, but you know what? I don't think she has a clue. There's not any real anti-air right now, and 15 mutas all at once, that's a huge amount. Scarlett has not capitalized on the building up of the mutas, and so she's going to be in trouble.
This is why you skip roach speed, so you can crank out an extra muta. I mean, these mutas are going to hurt. Scarlett has no spore crawlers, as you mentioned. Is dropping an infestation pit, but even a couple of infestors are not going to be good enough. Scarlett is in so much trouble here in Game 3. Scarlett is in so much trouble in the entire ESL regionals. As this is lower bracket, it's tournament live on the line, do or die, and keeping that fourth base alive should be impossible. Protecting the drone should be impossible. The minimap, I'm following Scarlett's camera. Scarlett knows now is going to build spore crawlers immediately, but they're never going to be quick enough.
Cham just going to go after all the overlords first. I don't think he realizes what a golden opportunity he has. If he just goes, there's so much. I mean, he can pick and choose what he wants to kill. There's 3 queens here. Fight. Yeah, I mean,
you can win that fight. You don't have to go for overlords here, Cham. You can kill that spore crawler. You can kill those queens.
Yeah, I mean, he's making it more complicated than it needs to be, although he can still control the area between the bases. That was maybe just a bit of a missed opportunity. He's going to find a spore here. He might even be able to jump on the spore in the natural still because there's no queens over there. Now the units move across those. The units move across. Cham does have to respect that and probably chase them down. And that's what he will begin to do. He turns onto some of those roaches. I think you just let them stay there. You can't afford for Scarlett to do too much. Scarlett turns around herself, not wanting to give up too much. And that's the beauty of the mutas.
There's just no way that Scarlett wins this. I mean, Cham is now attacking, by the way, with all of his slow roaches. Got a very easy kill on that fourth base. I just don't see a way for Scarlett at the moment. Yes, there is a Hydralisk then. 8 Hydras are on the production tab. But Cham is here. Cham is a maxed out Zerg, and he just has a far superior army. I think he can do a whole lot more with the mutas than he's done so far. It's good, Wadi, but I think Cham can do a lot more. And these are not fights that I think will ever go well for Scarlett, because look at the mutas. They go pretty much completely uncontested.
They really do. The queens were putting some damage on them. The mutas try and force them away. The roaches at Cham still doing all right. Here come the Hydralisks as Cham. His muta count has been chipped away at, man. He's only got 10 left, and now he's going to have to back away. He just... If he loses this game, it's because he didn't A-click with the mutas. Quite frankly, like, he could have killed all these queens already when the spore was built, and if he killed those, that would have been it. Like, Scarlett wouldn't have had anything to fight in between the bases with.
You're on top of the drones, you're on top of the production, the Hydras that pop one by one. But obviously, all things aside, it's still great for Cham. It's a 4-base Zerg against 3-base Scarlett. Scarlett lost a couple of the queens there, only has 3 queens remaining. Hydras are not fantastic against roaches and ravages, even though I don't know if this is the angle that Cham should be going for. I feel like at this point, you can really see how excited Cham is getting, right? Where he's like, am I doing this? Like, am I just doing it? Can I do it right now? But we have +1 melee on the way, bailing speed on the way. Mutas are going to take a little look in the main base. There are 2 spore crawlers there. I mean, once upon a time there were 0, but there is still always so much potential for these mutas. Just need to make sure, Cham, that you don't attack up that tiny ramp and get fungal and corrosive out.
Yep, that's the one thing you do. You're right, you really do have to be somewhat just cautious of right now, as these mutas are going to jump onto a couple of evolution chambers and just slowly find openings. Obviously, keep your opponent on 3 bases as long as possible. But again, just be careful of some of those fungal growths and so on, as Cham actually has a lot of Banes. Is going to take the fight with the mutas before the Banes show up to fight the Hydras. That's obviously not quite it. At the same time, we're rolling in to get a bunch of drones. The Banes get fungaled. but kills the hatchery in the process.
You know, he actually manually detonated a whole bunch of banelings in the center of the map there, right next to Scarlett's army, and they did not connect. So, I mean, okay, we are far enough ahead that we can make a beauty mistake, but I think he legit detonated 10 plus banelings, where Scarlett is now dropping a new hatchery at her own triangle. Cham has a lot of units in production, needs to be a little bit careful because Hydras and Fungal potentially can get a good fight. I mean, Scarlet, her entire army is not here yet. I am glad to see on Cham's side there's a couple of Banelings left, right? There's a few Banes, make it more complicated for these Hydras. Scarlet knows that he's in serious trouble and he needs to make magic happen, but the numbers are just heavily in favor of Cham. Cham needs to be careful. Cham is building 4 spine crawlers while being up 58 supply body.
He's terrified, man, as the infestors do land a massive fungal growth, at least as they were about to get chased down. The one that landed the growth does go down. The other survives as we move back over this right side. Right now, I'm not sure if Cham has everything here that he needs to fight, especially with the Hydra still in play. He is going to keep on looking. This is a great moment just to turn those roaches on the top side. That's the last fungal growth for the moment. It is going to deliver with some corrosive files as well. I mean, Cham's numbers are still favorable as he dives on forward. Just any sort of trade out should still be good for Cham. And Scarlett is somehow
I love this,
on.
man. It feels that Cham's brain is all over the place, where he's like, I'm winning, maybe I need 4 spines, but I'm going to keep on attacking anyway, even though I'm nowhere near maxed out. But it is good enough, right? All of it is good enough, because he has done a great job in dealing economic damage. Earlier, when he blew up some Banelings in the middle of nowhere, he also had those Banelings blowing up that hatchery at the bottom. And not just the hatch, but a whole bunch of drones as well. I mean, Cham has lost over 2,000 resources more than Scarlett in this game, but it doesn't matter because he has mined probably 8k more at this point, and he's not done yet mining more. He's rallying everything to the other side of the map. 33 roaches, 1 Ravager. Wardy, I think we are looking at the biggest upset of the entire ESL regional so far.
I think so. As corrosive balls go down, a hatchery will take a few shots. It's going to go down immediately, and Cham just backs it up a second. Plus 2 missiles on the way from him, so that's progressing. And we just have our army still moving back and forth. I love that he got that melee upgrade, by the way. Just finished up pretty much as the Banelings were done for the day. So, Infester nearly goes down. The Spawn instead taking shots as Cham is maxed out once more and really is just looking for this final fight. Scarlett's making it difficult. It is choky to attack up into Golden Aura's bases. That's why Cham is struggling so. He should eventually get there, even if he is going to eat every fungal possible on the way to this W.
Yep, Cham is winning the fight on the left side as well, has officially broken the last line there of Scarlett. Scarlett lands another picture-perfect fungal, tries to connect with a couple of corrosive balls, but all that's left is a few Hydras and a few Ravagers. And if the roaches of Cham get on top of these units, it is all over. GG, Cham advances.